Hello and welcome back to another episode presented to you by Bollock Studios, where football nutmegs the nonsense. So, hey Sharif, welcome back, man. Nice to have us lah. So, I speak for myself also lah. So, hey, wow. I mean, of course, we have experienced what a season in the EPL, and hey, guess what, man? We are. In the matter of just days, we will be approaching the upcoming World Cup 2026 in the US, man. So, of course, we've got a couple of topics lined up for us to cover for today's show, including some of the transfers for Man United. Quite intriguing transfers or otherwise, or shall I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly sides of it as well. So, let's get into it, man, Sharif. Look, the reports are already out, right? The Here We Go is as well out from Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein as well, who already highlighted that we've already got Ederson from Atlanta out of the line. So why I say virtual is because he got called up. Although he wasn't selected for the Brazil squad, but then due to Wesley's injury, so Carlo Ancelotti decided to bring Ederson into the squad for the World Cup, so which is good. So I think, I mean, of course, we want to talk stats. We want to talk about what this player brings and all that. We're going to get into it shortly, man. But I mean, before we get into the other players in the mixer, Sharif, what's your feel? What do you think, man, for Ederson? Some of people are not debating. They are also saying things like he is the Casemiro replacement, where if you ask me, I don't think there will ever be a replacement for Casemiro. Again, I could be wrong, but we want to run through his stats perhaps in the Serie A. But I don't know, before we get into all the stats, what is your feel? What do you think, bro?
Who is he? I think that's what I think. I think that's what everyone is thinking. Who is he? Yes,
Yep.
who is this person? I guess in a couple of episodes I did mention that we can change managers as much as we want, but we need to back up the managers. So it really looks like this signing or Ederson coming in is it's a club decision, right? It's not Carrick's, and it will be that way because Carrick is being signed as a head coach, and this is what you will be getting at, or the scope that you are getting in, right? So if there may be a chance where he needs to be on the players that he wants, but clearly Ederson, I do not want to disrespect player. He is a professional player, but they're definitely better than me over here, right? Speaking about football, right?
Yep.
But here we go again with Ineos and Glazers. We always try to get the grade B players or the Kopi Ori players, right? And I don't know, I may be proven wrong, but most of the time, I'm not trying to be proud over here. These things always does not work out, right? We saw with Amrabat, with Patrick Dogru in Hoyland and Zirkzee as well. So I mean, we can talk about stats and data all the way, right? But I'm Godsmacken, right? Because we should always go for a PL proven type of players, and not to mention this season we are playing in the Champions League. And I'm not sure and I'm not confident enough that this purchase of our first midfield is a Champions League standard type, right? Yet to argue whether it's a Premier League standard as well. But again, I'm open to be proven wrong. But again, I'm not excited. I'm not jumping off my seat and saying that, oh, here we go. We got a replacement of Casemiro or a good midfield, right? And speaking of that, I think I need to put a shout out to the fan base as well. I've been saying this many times. We are misprofiling the midfield that we need right now. We should not get a bruiser type of midfielder, because we have in Ugarte, and we could see it does not work with the counter-attacking, with the direct football that Carrick brings in, or if we want to play possession type base of football as well. So we need a ball-carrying midfield. And that's what I think the grade of Casemiro is. Right? And he's a excellent veteran in the football sense. He could adapt playing what the coaches need. We've seen him playing a little bit box to box when he was with Amorim. We've seen him playing the holding midfielder when he was with Erik ten Hag, and now with Michael Carrick, we're seeing him making the last run.
Yep.
That's why we are seeing him getting goals from corners
Yep.
or set pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
And therefore we should not find an A to A replacement to Casemiro. That will not be a good profiling of the
Mm-hmm.
midfield that
Mm-hmm.
with Pat with Maino, right? What we need to find is a ball playing type of midfield, right?
Yep.
Because what happens right now is Maino, even though how talented he is, he's okay in bringing the ball or maybe traveling with the ball or bringing it up front.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see he does not have the credibility or the capability to bring the ball or to get the ball from a very low block and
Mm-hmm.
then transfer the block to mid or to attacking positions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how Michael Carrick does when he was playing for United. We need that type of midfield, right? We
Yep.
need a midfield that understand, that can slows down, that can fast the tempo in it, right?
Yep.
And therefore it always got to be, and my top priority is always going to be Elliott Anderson. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen him playing with Nottingham Forest. He's a proven Premier League player, and what he does for Nottingham Forest is
Yep.
he able to sit in the midfield, right in front of the two defenders,
Mm-hmm.
receive the pass from these two defenders, build around the passing triangle or the passing part that what Nottingham Forest always does, and then we'll try to launch the ball into attacking or
Yes.
redistributing the passes back to the wingers, and those type of midfielders that we need, right? And therefore, my earlier comment,
Mm-hmm.
Ederson and Anderson again, another copy Ori, right? So yeah, uh I feel maybe Ederson it might be a squad player, but again,
Mm-hmm.
we need a squad player that can compete. But again, I think it's too early to say negative stuff or critique
Mm-hmm.
him. So welcome aboard to Man United. But yeah, he has a lot of proving needs to be done, and I think we brought four players from Italian league, and you could see the difference
Mm-hmm.
of the standard and how they are struggling with the pace of Premier League. So yeah, back to you, Matt. I know I've been speaking, but what do you
Yeah.
think about my comments
Yeah.
about that? Right?
I agree with that sort of style of play. Hence, I think I can also agree when, Elliot Anderson would have, do I dare say, the marquee signing, right? It
Mm,
would have been
mm.
brilliant to have him sign for United. But I think, of course, the reports are out where his preference is Manchester City, right? So,
Actually, yeah,
yeah.
actually, yeah. I got to interrupt
Mm,
here, Matt.
yep.
Sorry. Actually, it's not his preference, right? I mean, right now, Nottingham Forest, of course, he wants to leave. That's
Mhm.
clearly right.
Yep.
Or maybe he feel because Nottingham Forest, maybe he feels that he still have a role in Nottingham Forest. For me,
Mhm.
where I see he is right now, he's the same type of the transfer market when with Declan Rice, right?
Mhm.
We know Declan Rice wants to leave, right? And you see clubs trying to beat, and it's going to
Yes.
cost hard,
Yes.
like what you
Yep.
mentioned, a marquee signing.
Yep.
And the only club right now that is there to match the asking price of
Mhm.
Nottingham Forest, which is approximately around 100 million euros, right?
Mhm.
Which is for me, yes, it's
Mhm.
high, but you are getting a proven Premier League
Yep.
type
Yep.
player. We
Mhm.
spent 50 to nearly 50 to 60 million for both Mbuemo
Mhm.
and Cunha, right? And Elliot Anderson is a young player, a midfield player that you know his ceiling is going to be high, and he
Mhm.
can play for another 10 years. And
Silly.
that's what
Yep.
the Omar Brada was saying, right? We are looking for players for 10 years, right?
Mhm.
And these are the type of players that you should
Correct.
look at, whatever the
Mhm.
cost is. So it's clearly that Ineos and Glazers are playing are playing to the fan base back
Mhm.
again. That's saying
Mhm.
that in previous times they were saying that we don't have money because we could not qualify to Europe. But
Mhm.
now when we do qualify to Europe, the narrative has changed that, oh, we do not want to do the same thing that we did
Exactly.
couple years ago where we
Correct.
spent a lot and then the players doomed down.
Mhm.
I don't feel that's the case right now
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
Elliot Anderson, I do believe that the scouting in Man United have done their research, have done their homework, and I do believe it is going to be another Declan Rice type of transfer, whoever gets Elliot Anderson. Of course, you need time for him to gel with the team, but
Mhm.
he has the character. He's an England international right now
Yep.
and young age, and he fits the profile of a ball carrying type of midfielder like Declan Rice. And that's why I say Arsenal win the Premier League because they got a proper midfield, which
Yep.
is Declan Rice, and that's where they start to rebuild the rebuilding blocks, right? They did not went out and got a basmati rice or biryani rice or something, right? Standard 2.0 or standard 3.0, right? They
Exactly.
went for effing Declan Rice.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, hence I say lah. I mean, I goes without saying lah. He will be lah a marquee signing, right? But
Mm.
again, I mean, a lot of things to argue about also. Like you see, it's a player preference, and of course, I mean, it's
He
just a funny.
actually he
Yeah,
actually not prefer to Man City, right? Because only Man City is the one who only beats him, man. That's the thing right now, right?
yeah, and yeah,
That's the
yep.
thing.
Like probably.
MU did not beat him. So I think he also need to respect no,
Mm-hmm,
Forest, right?
mm-hmm,
We want to get like what Berbatov did with Spurs and some other
mm-hmm,
players as well, right? I mean, he's being respectful. He's focused in
mm-hmm.
the World Cup. But the only thing right now, I think what we need to share the fact is that it's not that Elliott Anderson wants City. It's because
True.
City is the one who has the
Bidding
ball,
for him
has
lah, and
his
has
courage
the
enough to put in
ball.
the 100 million in, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Man
yeah.
United couldn't. Man United couldn't. It's not just they
Yep.
couldn't, but they are just scared. Ineos is scared. Yep.
And yeah, another tricky situation would also be that Elliott Anderson. I mean, obviously he's in the World Cup squad with England, and depending on his performances there, and
Mhm.
that price could skyrocket.
Of course, of course, of course,
Now that's
of
also another
course,
factor, no. So
of course,
yeah, I
of
mean, okay,
course.
City may have bid, but then from the player, he just wants to focus on the World Cup first, and
Correct.
yeah, I think that was a statement being released as well. So hence, I think probably on the United transfers, Elliott Anderson's name has been not swept under the rug, but then they just like kind of keep it low first, hang in there first, give the player some space first, focus on England and all that stuff. So perhaps that lah. But I mean, for me, yeah. So now coming back to my thoughts on Ederson. So
Mm,
I mean, touching on stats a little bit lah. 30 appearances in the Serie A and 9 appearances in the Champions League. 2 goals, 1 assist in the Serie A, averaging 53.6% ground duels won. Seems to be highly physical and effective recovering loose balls. But this is the tricky part. Is the chances, I mean, for maybe it's the kind of player profile we have. Like you were talking about player profile, right? So very low volume profile he has. That's only averaging about 0.38 key passes per 90,
mm,
Okay. In terms of chances created, he's very low on that. Probably it's also because he's kind of like that sort of defensive box to box engine sort of a player, right? So not a creator. Do we need that? I don't know, because funnily people say he's like that replacement of Casemiro, which is not, right? I don't think I look, hate me for saying it, but love me for being fake lah. But
mhm, mm,
but look, I agree with you. He could be a squad player. Yes, he's got Champions League experience player, right? But Premier League, of course, none lah. He's from the Italian league. From Serie A is very different compared to the Premier League, right? So and I can agree with you that suddenly players from the Italian league move to the Premier League and say, oh, wait a minute, some degree of adapting, will take a bit of time and all that stuff, right? So is this a Michael Carrick player or a club player? I don't know. We only can find out once, he joins the squad after the World Cup. And on a good note, at least Michael Carrick will have a preseason with Ederson lah. So let's look on a positive. So moving on, Mateus Fernandes, the recent stuff on his price tag getting increased from 80 million pounds to 85, as reported by David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano. I don't know. I think is this agent playing hardball, hard to get? I don't know if would he be another squad player once again or a definite starting 11 player? But looking at stats wise, 34 appearances in the Premier League, 3 goals, 5 assists. 1.64 per 90 minutes chances created. So that's actually way higher than Ederson. But of course, given the fact, the type of player profile we're talking about, right? And like you were mentioning about Elliott Anderson, of course, has a bit more of that percentage. He's got like about averaging 2.1 chances, as opposed to Mateus Fernandes. but being priced at 85 million as we speak. So I don't know what are your thoughts on Mateus Fernandes, but would he be a good addition?
Well, I think he will be definitely a good addition, even though West Ham is relegated. Look, we did, or some other clubs also did, bought relegated players, and sometimes it's not because the players are not good. It's just because the club they are in, it's in turmoil, right? Well, Cunha was almost relegated, so is Cunha not a good player because Wolves is relegated? So
Agreed.
for me, I think the type of player of Fernandez is a player that we need addition that we need, and we need him because of the types of games that we are playing. And I did mention, right, when we profile players like the midfield that we want right now, that we partner Kobe Mainu,
Yep.
is a player like I mentioned, it's a passer, right? So
Yep.
for me, I'm not going to look at the goals contribution or the XGs, right? That's going to be a bonus type of indicators. What I'm going to look at is how many pass completion, how many direct passes, how many interception that he did, or the player does, right? And Mateus Fernandes, right? Yeah. I do believe he does not fit the profile directly, but he provides an option for us if we want to, sit in a low block or playing a very little bit conservative, right?
Yep.
When you are playing with a team that has more dominance on the possession itself. And I do see Mateus Fernandes is a better option than Anderson itself. But right
And
now,
he's
like
young.
what you're mentioning,
And he's
right?
young. So
80 to 85 million.
yep.
It's kind of high price,
Yep.
right? So let's look on how the United transfer directors and the
Let's see how
sporting
it
directors is
pans
going to
out, man.
work out, right?
Yep.
Yes, exactly. Because 85 plus another couple of 15 to 20 million more, you will get Elliott Anderson. So why not splash a little bit extra? But this is where mind-boggling, Matt. I mean, you spent, was it 45 million euros for Ederson, right? 45 million.
About yeah,
So
including the release clause and stuff like that. Yeah, about
yes,
40
exactly.
point 40.5
Yes.
euros.
So
Yep.
correct. So 45, if you don't spend with Ederson and you put in that, at least a third of that 45, one third of that, which is 15 to 20 million, top up with this 85 that you are willing to bid for Mateus Fernandes, you will get a marquee signing right before the World Cup. It is, right?
Yeah.
So for me, this is how it works. You settle with a club, and then the negotiation of the contract can happen after the World Cup itself. But right now, I don't see that happening, and I do not want to put hopes to our United fan base that Ineos and Glazers will come out and then will, after the World Cup, they will talk with Elliott Anderson or nothing. That will not happen, because Omar Brada did mention that they
Yep.
will not go out and splash money. And that's the hard fact that we need
Yep.
to accept, that
Yep.
Ineos is incompetent in challenging the transfer market, in bringing a marquee signing. That I don't see any marquee signing that they brought in, except Mbuemo and Cunha. But you must understand that those two players wanted to play for United, and
Yes.
no other
No,
teams
the clubs were
were.
going after them. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And if you see like Semenyo, right, when City comes in, that's where Man United could not compete in. And
No.
now we go here again, right? I don't see any transfers that with Ineos, when we go head to head with other clubs, that okay, now the favors swing to us, right? But it's more like, I do not want to go in because City has beat, or I do not want to go in because Chelsea has beat it.
Yes.
So this is not gonna happen.
It's
I don't
like
see,
United.
yeah,
Like
I don't see
United
happening.
kecut lah. Kecut lah. The moment ada clause, alah kecut lah.
Exactly,
Tak nak lah. Apa lah.
exactly. And that's what Ineos and Glazers is right now, right?
Yeah.
They are operating in a very tight budget. I heard around 250 million. This is where it's mind-boggling. Matt, not last season, the season where we finished 15,
Yep.
we are the third most
Highest.
profitable
Yes.
club.
Yes.
Third, we
Third.
did not win anything. And now you are saying that if we are playing in Champions League and our budget is only 250 million,
250 million. Yep. I agree. it's not making sense lah. And
It's not
you say
making
it's
sense.
mind-boggling, yeah. But I don't know. Some reports. Earlier I was just watching on some other channels and all that they could end up spending more than 250 mil. However, it also falls back to the exits. So Manuel Ugarte has also handed in a transfer. We don't know what's going to pan out on that note. Considering he's also in the Uruguay squad as well, yeah, for the World Cup. So we have Sandro Tonali in the mixer as well. So yeah, so
I think
that's
it's a good alternative if they could not
it's a
go
good
for Elliott
yeah.
Anderson. Yeah.
Yep.
And like I mentioned, Sandro Tonali, it's almost similar profile like Elliott Anderson. It's only thing
Yes.
that Elliott Anderson has a high ceiling. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tonali, I think is almost 26 or 27 years old, right?
True.
It's much more mature, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and again, those are type of player, the Michael Carrick type of players where you will
Mm-hmm.
carry the ball from the
Yep.
deep lying
Mm-hmm.
playmaking midfield role,
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
you are orchestrating the passes from the defense,
Yes.
from the, and then transitioning
True.
when to transition,
Mm-hmm.
when to make direct pass, when to make
Mm-hmm.
a sideway passes,
Mm-hmm.
where to look for Bruno Fernandes, for
Yep.
example. and
Yep.
and it, and I'm not expecting both of these targets, Fernandes
Mm-hmm.
and Ederson, to do that. And you shared the stat as well. They are
Yep. Yep.
passing completion and their
Mm-hmm.
passing rates are not that high because they are
Yep.
not that type of players. However,
Correct.
ball winning, duel winning,
Yep.
recovery runs, they are
Mm-hmm.
there, right?
Yep.
So yeah, Sandro Tonali is, for me, is a good alternative if
Mm-hmm.
or it's not if we are not going for Elliott
Yep.
Anderson anymore.
Yep.
So
Yeah. I
if
agree with
Ineos
that. Yep.
manage to get for Sandro Tonali, then I feel excited. But if
Mm.
Ineos say, oh, this is what we are going to have for the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
season, and then they will give some crappy excuses, as
Then
all the transfer market they will give.
yeah.
And must remember, January, I don't expect them to buy anyone at
To
the
buy
spot.
anyone. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
exactly, we've been with Ineos for 3 years now, and they
Yeah.
don't buy in January.
Yeah, I agree. So that's that on the transfers, man. So before I get into the players that have already left and potentially to leave as well. So the transfers out, Hoyland confirmed already. Yep.
Good,
Yeah, that's good. So
good, very
yeah,
good
I
for
mean,
good for the club.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Could
Yeah.
not
So that's
He could not play in EPL. Definitely the pace is not for him. Yeah.
yeah. That's true, and of course, Casemiro bowed already. Marcus Rashford is a pretty tricky one. Let's see what happens with Marcus Rashford's sale. It could free up more as in transfer budget, weekly wages and all that stuff, right? I mean, for
Weekly
those who
wages,
are
yes, I agree.
yeah, exactly, right? It's 300 over £1,000 a
350.
week and
Yeah.
all that. So that can free up quite a bit, right? So, but again,
True.
we wait and see what pans out, right? Because there's still no, I mean, rumors are there. I think recent rumor is what? Bayern Munich are
Yep.
testing the
Bayern Munich
waters,
wants
right?
him.
So,
Mm.
yeah, I mean, Sharif, be honest with you, I'll be more than happy for him to leave, right? Because
Same here.
look, yeah, he should leave, right? I mean, for the
Same here.
greater
Same
good
here.
of
Yep.
himself and the club, as
Yep.
mentioned, right? So, and of course, Sancho is also another player.
Why is still a Man United? I don't know.
Exactly, I also don't know. So that's that, man. So of course,
And
those
all
are
of these
just yeah,
are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer players. I just want to say
yeah.
that.
And there you have it, right? All these players, and now it's another manager's headache lah to get rid. So
Correct.
yeah,
To get
it's
rid.
what it is
Yes.
lah. So addressing to the fans and those who are tuned in, let us know your thoughts, your comments on what do you make of United's transfer. Let us know what are your opinions. We really welcome them as well. We welcome your feedback as well on who would be your preference. Maybe both me and Sharif would have missed out some of the names in the mixer as well, and who would be besides just some of the marquee signings that we highlighted. Maybe there could be more that United should be going for. We never know. Let's see. So moving on, man. So Sharif, wow. Big congrats, man, to Real Madrid. Wow, your second favorite team.
Don Corleone.
Wow, that one really, wow, betul-betul steady punya politician lah. That one. Wow, not bad, man. Fiorentino
Don't mention
Perez
the name.
wins
Don't
it, man.
mention
Yeah, no, let's not mention names. This is football, not politics related. But anyway, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
So, but again, man, what? But again, Fiorentino Perez wins, right, the presidential election, and he will still retain his position as the president of Real Madrid. And with that having said, the special one returns to Real Madrid, man. Wow. And hey, they've got some brilliant signings as well, man.
Rahima Konate is in. Jose Mourinho is. I mean, they are not in, but these are the agreed contracts, right?
Yep.
With and this is why Florentino Perez won, because he's not speaking on tangi lah, bro. He's not. He's not. He's not. He's not. He's not putting some, manifesto, out there like our Ineos is doing, right? Maybe what MU need to do right now, maybe MU should run presidency, bro. So let's see which president who brings in much more better, football vision and everything, right?
Exactly.
And I don't know whether it works with the Premier League club. I want to hear what our viewers and our listeners say, right? But yeah, coming back to the Florentino Perez, I mean, he one of his marquee signing is is to bring in Olise. We'll touch that on player to watch for the World Cup, right? So they are willing to bid him for 150 million, just like that, bro, just like that. Yeah, 150 million, just like that, bro. That's what we call a signing. That's what we call a rebuilding, because they have won nothing for the last 2 years, and that's how upset is the old man is, right? He's 87 years old, if I'm not mistaken. He's 80 plus years old. He brought in 47 titles when he was in, right, including the 3 back-to-back Champions League with Zinedine Zidane, right?
Yep.
And yeah, he also was the one who brought in the Galacticos as well, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, he's a man of his word, not like Ineos and Glazers, right? He's a businessman, and he wants Real Madrid to be the greatest football club in the world, right? And that is why when I think when Real Madrid was losing in one of their Champions League game, he went into the dressing room and only asked Arda Gular to move out, and all the dressing room got ripped by this 80-year-old man. Man, I was surprised that he did not get some stroke or heart attack, because curse words was out, man. Everyone, every single one of them, including the interim manager Albaloa as well, right? And he did mention he brought in Xabi Alonso, but he felt that he could not able to change 22 players, and that's why he agreed to move on with Xabi Alonso. But now he if he can, he will do it right now, right? He can rip off the contract, and I guess players were were stunned to hear that, and when your when your president comes into the dressing room and rips you apart like that, that shows how much he wants, how embarrassing it is for Real Madrid not to win anything for the last 2 years, right? So yeah,
I agree. Yeah, man, and they've. I mean, look, they've always been a powerhouse, really. In football, they've always been consistent, very strong. But again, look, 2 seasons, kind of a blip. We can all agree with the change of manager and then losing the dressing room. I think we all went through those narratives before, lah. So now we'll just wait for all their, their marquee signings and.
What's the difference between 2 and 13 years, right? We all been Sabah for 13 years, right?
Relax, sudah. We 13 years plus. You see, Fiorentino Perez had the cojones to go to the dressing room. Exactly, to go there. You think Sir Jim Ratcliffe gonna do that?
No, he tried.
So, yeah, man, of course, that's on Real Madrid and, with the...
a little bit of grade of MU. So.
A bit of that. Must have lah. What to do? I mean, you're comparing... Okay, are we saying United is not a powerhouse? They are, or they were?
They were.
Past tense.
Past participant tense.
but of course, for a club like United to compete, it's not that they didn't spend. We all can agree they have spent, but the amount of money they spent over the years, they could have gone to the moon and came back, but but none of it happened, right? Yeah,
they could won the title at the moon.
Exactly. But unfortunately, right? I mean, well, they did win some trophies, right, over the years, right? But Premier League lah. We still United is still yet to win that, right? But let's see what pans out, man, this upcoming season. And of course, for those who have tuned in, stick around as we'll be following very closely on the transfer talks and all that stuff, right? So let's see what pans out there as well. And I think that's that from this episode. So this is me, Matt, your host, signing out alongside Shariff. So until the next one, stick around where we will be talking more on the World Cup specials. So see you in the next one. Peace out.